I'm worried about the state of Battlefield 2042, and I never wanted to be. I love the series, I love the games, I really want this game to be good. And to be fair, I'm actually quite confident in the enjoyment in the core gameplay mechanics, the core game loop. Why? Because there's 40 gigabytes of broken NDA gameplay footage out there that you can find if you really want to. That was great marketing. It really reassured me about the gameplay itself. Yeah, the graphics are awful and the frame rate is trash, but it's an early technical build. What do you expect? I can look past that. The issue is, all of that broke NDA. YouTube channels were deleted for showing that. The best marketing for the game actually cost people YouTube channels with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. That's awful that these people that were breaking the NDAs have done a better job marketing than EA themselves. And look, EA spent $689 million US on marketing in 2021. All I'm saying is, maybe spend a little of that advertising your game, hey? That's all I'm saying. So I'm not actually that worried about the actual game itself. I think the game will still be fun. I'm still looking forward to it. Just worried if it'll be even finished, given the release date. And everything that I keep seeing backs that up. Now, I don't want to bury the lead. This could all be out of date very quickly. You see, originally, we had the delay that everybody knows about at this point. It was delaying it a month. Now, you actually can't change that much in a month. If it was that terrible that it couldn't be released then, a month later, it's still not going to be perfect. There's going to be something wrong. This is the first sign that you get that something disastrous has happened. And so this was the first warning sign, but the second one was definitely that Freeman came out and saying, look, the open beta is going to be delayed. There were rumors that it was going to be the 6th of September. Then it was going to be the 22nd of September. And now all of those passed, and at the delay, Freeman went, look, we're going to share it later this month, and it's going to be next week. The unfortunate reality, though, is that next week was actually last week, and that's gone. And there was no information about the beta. They've missed another date, a date that they set themselves, a date that they voluntarily didn't have to do, but they did anyway, and then they missed it. And this isn't even the beta, this is just setting the date for the beta. You shouldn't be working until the last point. You shouldn't be working until the last second to get something ready. It actually should have been done weeks ago, because you knew this time was coming, you knew had a date in advance, and when you set that date, it should already basically be finished. That way, you know you're going to hit your targets. That's how it should work. But Tom Henderson came back and said that the dates for the beta will actually be on the 4th for a capture event, then early access on the 6th, and the open access on the 8th. But this was just a rumor, and this has been recently confirmed-ish from Origin API has actually pulled the dates from Origin itself, so it's looking really quite certain at this point. And then, strangely, there's a Billy live stream that's actually being shown tonight, or at this point, in a few hours after I'm recording. Now, this is a bit weird because it's Chinese, so I don't exactly know what it's all about, nor does anybody else unless you're Chinese, but it looks like there's going to be some kind of Battlefield 2042 stream, or at least an account has been created on there, and at about 4 p.m. UK time it's going to be shown, and it seems like this was a public account post stating there's an unexplainable game conference being held in Beijing time 11 p.m. so you can convert that to your own time. The strange thing is, though, after all of that gameplay came out, you know, the gameplay which is the only thing that's reassured me of the quality of the game, because God knows the developers haven't done it at this point, people were commenting that the FPS looked awful, they weren't sure about the time to kill, and it just looked a bit unwieldy because it was rough. It was really rough gameplay. And the response from Battlefield was to come out with these 2-minute clip things that were like, oh, we're going to show you some specialist gameplay. And it was just awful. The response was awful. I know it reassured some people, but just look at it. It's it's a couple of short clips together. It's a bit of terrible gameplay, and it's just, you need more. You can't do this. Look, you're spending $689 million a year on actual advertising of your game, and you come back with this. This is the best you can do. I mean, we know from the beta gameplay that you've actually got full maps ready. You've got vehicle gameplay. There's actually a helicopter clip that looks awesome. It really reminds me of Battlefield 4. And yet you couldn't hop in that with some kind of streaming personality and just fly around the map and show us orbital? I mean, really, that kind of stuff isn't difficult to do. It doesn't even have to be very professional. That's the point. You can just fly around the map, show us the map. That would have been interesting. And yet, we get nothing from you. And again, I'm not worried about the core gameplay. I'm worried if it's going to be finished. If you don't think you can do that, if you don't think you can promote even the most basic of gameplay for us, instead you have to resort to these really crappy 2-minute clips. How much of your game is actually done? If you've got to delay it for a month, is a month enough? If you can't even show us when your beta is going to be ready, if you can't even come up with a date of when it's actually going to be finished, it's showing that you're going to be working up until that last second. And that means that it's just unlikely to be ready. It's incredibly unlikely that whenever the date is, you're going to have worked right up to that date and finished it perfectly just in time. What it means is you're trying to cram out as many of the major things as you can and hope that it's enough. Now, Battlefield hasn't been known for its polished launches in the past. I actually own Battlefield 4 on 2 platforms. I played it on PC and I played it with my mates on Xbox. And that was a disaster then as well. For months afterwards, I remember the Xbox crashing because of some weird physics glitch, or because a building fell over and that just broke the entire game and the Xbox shut off. Every single patch note, it became sort of a running joke that this was awful, that, oh, we fixed it this time, we promise. Just like we did last time. But you'd think after those launches they would have learned, that they could have learned that maybe we should get the game done in advance, especially when back in February you were bragging that it was so far ahead of release. Well, it's really not looking like it now, is it? And just to kind of give you an idea of what it's like to launch a game before compared to now, we've got Battlefield 5 here, and this is what the Battlefield 5 launch date looked like, from reveal to actually open beta and actual launch. There's quite a lot of stuff there, as you can see. Quite a lot of different things that they did in every kind of month just to keep the train rolling. And you can compare that to now. This is what we used to have, and this is what we've got. And the Portal trailer and the Exodus trailer... And look, I'm not one for CGI. I don't really care. What I want is gameplay. CGI trailers have their place. They look awesome. They're just not that useful. And they certainly don't tell me anything about the game. They don't reassure me about the game like gameplay would. So far, the only people that have advertised the game, that have done some marketing for the game, have been punished for it. And I don't like that. I know they broke NDA, but... if you're not going to put out the stuff yourself, I don't think you can blame other people for doing it for you. And at this point, I think it'd be disingenuous to say that this hasn't impacted the game, as the memes show. And as always, nothing is ever more true than memes, because now they've delayed it once, and there comes a point where once you've delayed it, you really can't delay it any further. They want to get it out for the Christmas launch window. That's certain. There just isn't much more time for them to stop it. And so at this point, they're going to be releasing it on that day. I don't think it's going to get delayed, even if they don't get it finished. At this point, I don't think there's really a question of, is it going to be released with bugs? At this point, it's a question of, is it going to be released with any major bugs? Now, the interesting part is actually how DICE producer Ben Walker actually responded to this. Because he says this, even the simplest thing can have the most monstrous effect, needing multiple teams across the world to come together. Website updates, source artwork, write ratios, copy things. One tweet can often turn into a panda table flip gif of a process that needs to be followed. Nothing is ever as simple as just a tweet. Now, there's so many things to that I have a problem with. The thing is, firstly, it is as simple as make a tweet. Those are your own internal procedures, and they're your procedures. You came up with them. You can also not do them. Things don't have to go through head office. That's what your company tells you to do. Your company could also tell you not to. Red tape within a company exists because the company says it should, and the company could also get rid of it. And that's the company's fault. That you're still responsible for that. Not as an individual, but as a business, that is the fault of the business. So if you're not pumping out information, if you're not keeping your customers informed, that's your fault. But the interesting thing is how he's talking about all the different projects, all the different groups that need to be get together, all the different people from around the world. And he's making it sound a bit like, yeah, we thought it was going to be here, but then one department came in and said, we're actually not done yet. And so it's not so much that all the pieces aren't finished, but there's some major piece which needs to be finished, which isn't, and nobody knew about it. Which really sounds like a project management issue more than anything else. But even with the issue with that is, you can show something. You can do something. Whatever's finished, show that. Keep people informed, keep people up to date. And most of all, don't keep pushing things till the last second to actually do it. If you come out and go, oh, look, we're going to have a beta announcement this month, don't leave it till the end day of the month. You should give dates for things when you're actually ready, when you actually got the stuff done so that you know you'll meet them. But what we've seen so far, up till this point in time, is that this company leaves everything to the last minute. The marketing till the last minute. And that can only mean that they're working up to it on that very same day, right up until the point where they just don't have a choice to actually say something right now because they've already missed too many dates. There comes a point where you just can't delay it anymore. You've got to say something. And when you're pushing things up to that last day, just like if you're leaving homework till the last minute, it means that the quality is going to suffer because there's no way that you're accidentally going to be meeting that time perfectly. Something has to give, something has to be delayed, something has to be cut, or something has to be left with bugs in it. And this is why I'm worried. I still think the game is going to be decent. I'm still looking forward to the game. I'm just concerned about the quality that it's going to be having, just how much is going to be left on the table with what's wrong with it, just because they ran out of time. I would be more than happy at the stage of launch to come back, look back at this video, and eat my words. If they could release it in a perfectly polished state, no one will be more happy than myself. But I'm also a data-driven guy. I'm not some fanboy that's going to love the series and look over its flaws. That's not me. I'm going to judge what's in front of me, and what's in front of me is nothing. And the only reason I can think to do that, the only reason I can think to go and just ignore marketing for months is because you had nothing to show because it wasn't ready. And I'm sure the marketing team were pulling their hair out, but there's nothing they can do if the game isn't done. So at this point, I really hope that Chinese stream goes ahead. I hope that we get the dates announced. I hope the developers do some kind of stream and start showing us the game. Start showing us what the beta will involve. Start taking us around the map and showing us more gameplay. Because they need to. If it's finished, they need to. I can't say I don't think it's damaged the launch of the game. I think they're just really, really lucky that Call of Duty hasn't been that well received. I've not seen too many people hyped with it. They've already played it, and it's just like, yeah, it's Modern Warfare all over again. I think if Call of Duty had come out with a much stronger launch and a much stronger beta, I think Battlefield really, really would have been in trouble. At this point, they're kind of just hoping that everyone else fails, rather than them putting out something that's really, really strong to get players really excited. And I don't think that's a good strategy. I don't think it's ever a good strategy. You should beat them off your own merit, not off their flaws. It's just not a strategy I can really get behind. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope that my worries are unfounded. But as far as I can see, yay. Oh, you're gonna have to give me more than this to actually prove me wrong. But for now, that's it from me. If you liked the video, press like and subscribe more videos like this in the future. I'm a big Battlefield guy. If you want more Battlefield content, you're gonna have to hit that subscribe button. But for now, let me know your thoughts on Battlefield down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.